Good morning and welcome to Lightroom CC with Bickington Photographic Club. This is our first ever video tutorial for our YouTube channel, and you can see what we've got here is the opening screen of Lightroom with absolutely nothing in it. So this is how you'll get it when you first install it, and we're just going to show you around the library tab in this tutorial, only a couple of minutes long, just so that you can get a little bit familiar with the workspace. So on the left hand side of the screen we've got our Navigator, and what that will do is once you've got an image selected, it will appear in this box and it will allow you to use different zoom ratios to zoom in on the image. It'll also have a little loop view which will allow you to move around the image that you have selected, and you'll see that when we've started bringing some images in. Below our Navigator we have our catalogue, and our catalogue is literally, as it's described, it's all of the photographs that we have in our Lightroom for use. So we've got it categorised as all photographs, all synced photographs, and that's in relation to if you're using Lightroom Mobile, which we can tell you about later. Our quick collection, which we'll explain, is just a quick way of accessing certain images, and the previous import is telling you the number of images that was in the last selection of images you brought in from your hard drive. Underneath that is collections. This is where most people go wrong with Lightroom, is they try to use a tab called folders, which I've actually deliberately hidden on my Lightroom, instead of using collections, and that's how people end up with duplicates and all kinds of problems with their images not showing up, etc. And we'll iron out those problems as we go on. If we go across to the other side here, we've got a histogram, exactly the same as it would be in the back of your computer. It would show you your peaks and troughs for your blacks, your shadows, your normal exposure, your highlights and your whites across the histogram, and then there are a number of tabs below that which are all to do with importing your images in the first instance, and we'll look at those each more closely when we get going with imagery. Lastly, along the bottom here, obviously we have our import tab. Can't bring images in without an import tab, and likewise you can't get them out without an export tab. Here we've got the grid view, a loop view, a comparison view, a survey view, and people. We'll explain each one of those as we go along. Primarily you'll use the first three. It's the difference between seeing a set of thumbnails versus an individual image, or perhaps comparing two similar images for, say, white balance or exposure or something like that. On the right hand side towards the bottom we've got auto sync and sync settings. They come into their own when we start using the develop module, so we'll come back to those at a later date. In a nutshell, that is the Lightroom library workspace as a very quick introduction. Thank you very much for listening. Next time we'll have some images to play with and we'll get going from there.